Story number 24, Six Angels. In the serene country of Northern Ireland, there is a nice community of people there. There were some people there who were unaware of something divine that was about to take place. Six angels who were three male angels named Will, Matthew, and Timothy, and three female angels named Hope, Grace, and Serenity. These angels were sent on a 5-week-long mission to save lives in many different ways, comfort those who feel down, provide guidance to those seeking an answer, and carry out other divine tasks throughout Northern Ireland. An angel named Will went to the serene city of Bangor, but Will was invisible when he went there, because he was going there to prevent a heinous highway accident from taking place. He did it by forcefully stopping a bus from ramming into an 18-wheeler that would have also rammed into 4+ other vehicles on the highway. On the following Wednesday night, the bus driver named Simon Challies shared his testimony about how an angel stopped the bus, and he mentioned how he knew that an angel was there to stop the bus. He knew that an angel stopped the bus because the bus was skidding uncontrollably, and then felt the forceful stop that the bus had. The quaint church air was filled with amens, and everyone laughed how there are angels among us. On a Friday morning, an angel named Hope hitchhiked to the bustling city of Belfast. After she arrived, she visited a quaint, cozy cafe to enjoy a delicious 250-milliliter cup of mint tea, sweetened with honey, that was paired with a delicious cherry turnover. Just before she left, she wanted to speak to the owner of the cafe, who is a kind young man named Victor Bach. Hope had a nice, brief conversation with Victor, and the conversation concluded with Hope warning Victor to close the cafe on the following day. And Victor saw the seriousness in Hope's tone of voice, and it was more serious than Victor could have ever imagined. So Victor took heed to Hope's warning and closed his cafe on Saturday. Hope then went and convinced the owners of the adjacent businesses to close their businesses on Saturday as well. When speaking to those business owners, she also used a very serious tone of voice, and they too saw the intense seriousness in what she was saying, so they too closed their businesses on Saturday as well. On Saturday morning, Victor woke up and read his Bible and read a passage of scripture that has to do with entertaining angels unawares. After he finished spending time with the Lord, he turned on the TV to watch a Christian movie. Just as he turned on the TV, he saw what was on the news. He found out that his cafe, as well as a couple of adjacent businesses, exploded as a result of a gas leak in the electronics store that was located next to the cafe. On Sunday morning, Victor and other business owners went to share their testimony about their encounter with an angel that they had on the day before the gas leak explosion. They all said that it was on the previous morning when they found out about the gas leak explosion on the news, when they realized that they had an encounter with an angel and did not know it up until then. An angel named Matthew walked to Downpatrick, Northern Ireland, and he went to help a pastor get his truck out of a ditch. As the pastor was on his way to church on a fine Sunday morning, Matthew arrived in a tow truck to tow the car out of the ditch. And just when the pastor, who is named Martin Hickering, turned around to thank Matthew, he noticed that Matthew disappeared. Martin then arrived to church about 15 minutes early for the church service. It was not a coincidence that on that morning, Pastor Martin Hickering preached a sermon about angels, as he spent 4 days preparing for the sermon leading up to the service. Everyone in the church left the sermon. An angel named Grace went into the middle of the sky to guide an airplane that was going through an intense kind of turbulence that made the flight feel like an over-the-top roller coaster that no one wanted to be on. She got the airplane to land safely, and she was invisible during the process. After the plane landed safely, Grace then changed her form to the appearance of a woman, and walked to a random city in Northern Ireland to donate an abundance of food and jackets to a group of 4 homeless people. The homeless people were thankful for what Grace did for them. When the 4 homeless people turned around to thank Grace, she disappeared. After this, the 4 homeless people gave glory to Jesus. After the airplane landed safely, the pilot spent the rest of his day praising Jesus Christ for sending an angel to get the plane to land safely. If it wasn't for Grace, the airplane would have crashed violently, and everybody on that plane would have died. The homeless people received jackets for when winter arrives. An angel named Timothy rode on a bike to Moyle, Northern Ireland, and he went there to comfort a married couple who lost a loved one. The couple asked Timothy why God allowed things like that to happen, and then Timothy explains to them that the reason why there is misery in the world is because of the fall as a result of Adam and Eve's sin. After this, the couple, Felix and Joanne, chose to lean on the Lord during the hardship they were going through. An angel named Serenity walked to Cookstown, Northern Ireland, and she approached a woman named Hannah in a cozy cafe. As she saw a so-called fancy dress being sold on Instagram for £300, and the platform claimed that it was a dress that would normally cost £750, that is being sold for £300. Just as Hannah was about to buy the so-called dress, Serenity told Hannah not to buy the so-called dress. After this, Hannah changed her mind and decided to buy a dress from a fashion store. As Hannah browsed the dresses, she found one that looked twice as nice as the fake one she saw on Instagram, and the price was £190. Then she bought the dress and wore it the next time she went on a date with her boyfriend Justin. During the date, Justin told Hannah how his cousin Valerie was banned from Instagram for attempting to scam people by making a platform where a so-called fancy dress that would normally cost £750 was being sold for £300. Fortunately, no one fell for the scam, as Valerie got banned and her platform was taken down before any women would fall for the scam. The women who would have fallen for the scam would have received nothing at all. It was at this moment when Hannah realized that she had an encounter with an angel 4 days earlier, since Hannah realized that if it wasn't for taking heed to the serious warning the angel gave her, then she would have been scammed out of £300. After this realization, Hannah thanked the Lord for sending an angel to prevent her from falling for a horrific scam. After the date, Justin went to visit his cousin Valerie and scolded her for attempting to scam women out of £300. During the process, Justin told her that scamming people is a serious sin. Sadly, Valerie was greedy for money and was giving Justin a bunch of word salads that were nothing but cover-ups, and also mocked Christianity. Valerie was delivering very deceitful lies during the process, and Justin yelled furiously at her as he was giving her a lecture about how scamming people is wrong. Then Valerie stormed out of the room. Several days later, Valerie was arrested for setting up scams, and she was sentenced to 5 years in prison and a £4,000 fine. On Sunday morning, at the end of a church service, Hannah shared a testimony about how the Lord sent an angel to prevent her from falling for a terrible scam, and everyone in the church loved the testimony she shared.